those require surgical ablation, which makes it none of the government's business, no man's business, and only between a patient and their doctor.
Period.
Yeah, that doesn't give the justification for
Clear.
being taken.
Hang on, Mustafa. Sorry. Just to be clear, RKG, like that's not my position, right? That's not what I was. But yeah, I do think.
So can I respond to that? Yeah. So again, those procedures, also like Brizaza said, right? That's not the position in which that's going to be taken to get rid of necessary medical treatments that are specifically going to be. I don't know. Why am I being cut off? Oh, am I lagging? Okay.
I'm correcting you. It's already occurring.
Do I need to get in contact with my internet provider? Okay.
Go ahead. Yes, please do. You are being such a little drama queen right now. And you're just a very young boy.
There's so many. Hello? Okay, perfect. So again,
control.
Right? Have some. Right, have some. Now, anyways, right, again, as I was stating, right, when it comes to there being, right, necessary medical procedures that
I'm glad the young ladies have to deal with this little man. Goodbye. I'm not talking to you.
It's honestly comical at this point. Okay, bye. It's not an airport nor a train station. You don't need to announce your departure. Avidase, right? Like, I don't know what you're looking for. Now, anyways, right, safe travels. Again, right, it doesn't mean just because there's necessary medical procedures, right, in which that are going to be, had, that this means that the pro-life position is that they're going to get rid of all forms of medical procedures or things like that. Actually, right, what the position is by the pro-life side is two things. One, they're going to be acknowledging that there's not really going to be a justification for the unaliving, right, of a parent's offspring at the hands of the parent's decision to just do so based on any will or whim. The second thing is that they're going to be acknowledging in which that there's going to be a necessary responsibility or obligation that's going to be present. And they're going to say that a parent's going to need to uphold this necessary obligation or responsibility that a parent has over their child. And it results in not terminating the life of their child, not neglecting this obligation or responsibility in which that's present, right? So I don't understand what the straw man was there about the medical procedures, but that was just crazy. Because I've never heard one pro-lifer ever say, we're going to take away every single possible invasive medical procedure that a woman could ever get when it comes to her being pregnant. That's never happened, right? Even the ones that hold what I would call the radical pro-life view of not giving SA exceptions, right? Or even not giving medical exceptions. Their view isn't that they're going to ban medical procedures. Their view is just that they're not going to allow for the unaliving of the offspring. Now, I don't hold this radical view, but I'm just saying that's the most radical that pro-life gets. It's where they don't give any exceptions.
Okay, that's a good point, Mustafa. I'm just saying that you would be surprised how many pro-lifers are have no R-word exemptions. The leader of Live Action, Lila Rose, someone I've met in person, she has the only exception she has is for
the life of the mother.
Life of the mother, and I would say. I want to say half, but I don't know for sure, so I'm not. But I think it's close to half. Okay, if I'm just spitballing, do not have R-word SA exemptions, and I mean even if they did, it wouldn't matter to me. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think, and again, I would just and anybody, right? And I mean, listen, Catholic Mike knows me. Other pro-lifers know me that may hold a view where they don't give an SA exception. By the way, I hope you're doing good, Mike. I don't know if you're by your phone. You've kind of been quiet for quite a bit, but I hope you're doing good. But those pro-lifers that don't give the SA exception, I would just say that they're wrong, and that's fine, right? To state that, yeah, they have a wrong position, right? I'm not gonna think that position is actually going to make sense to me. I don't think that a position where we state that there's an obligation or a duty that's going to be handed to minors is going to be a position that I'm going to align with, even remotely, right? Because children can't consent. They can't. We can't hold them to an obligation for an action in which, especially an action that was forced upon them, the same way that we would view for any woman, that had this action forced upon her in a non-consensual manner, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
so
also really hard to prove too, I think.
and I think as a pragmatic point, I think that is a fair point to bring up as pragmatics, but I also don't think that necessarily pragmatics are going to, because this is the thing, is there's a separation, right, between the normative claim, which is what people are making when they're saying that there's a wrong maker here, right? There's something wrong that's going on with what's happening in the sense of the abortion, right? Or there's something wrong in the sense of like stating that we're going to hold them obligated to carrying this pregnancy, right? And then just because there's a practicality, there's a pragmatic
No, it's
problem with
not
the way
just
how we're going
practicality.
to apply that. When it comes to a problem of how we're going to apply that, right? That doesn't then make it to where the normative view is no longer actually going to hold any water.
Listen, I would never make that claim. I don't think Nana is making that claim. Of course, the normative. Of course, of course, that holds water.
I was explaining to Nana, right, that we can identify pragmatic issues, right?
That's
Some
not
kind
the
of
only issue. There's an emotional issue.
We can identify applicational issues of something, but that doesn't then mean that the normative view itself is going to be wrong.
I just agreed with you, Mustafa. I'm trying not to call you Mike anymore. Huh?
Right. I'm explaining to Nana, right? I was explaining to Nana.
I think she gets that because she's in law school. I don't think she's like missing that point that I don't.
No. Did
Listen,
you?
the way we learn,
I study more pro-choice debates, but like I see where you're coming from, even though I don't agree.
But you understood what he was trying to say, right? About like the normative arguments do hold water, and so like to everyone in the comments, like, oh, let's just forget about the ethical issues. I would never make that claim.
Yeah, I would never.
Issues matter, of course, but how do we study ethical issues in law school? So we study them in the sense that they matter, but we're not going to lean just solely on those, right?
Yeah,
we want to
very
be
subjectively.
reasonable. They're subjective. Like we want to lean closer to like make like, okay, how am I trying to explain this?
When there are hard truth, when you're making decisions like such content, I mean, this is probably one of the most contentious issues of the 21st century, right? It's like abortion in America, it's abortion and gun rights, right? When you're making debates and issues about these things, like morality has to be subjective because of the implications if it's not, right? If we say it's objective, then there's just so many, I don't want to say foul, there's just so many things that can go wrong if we're saying that all abortions are bad. And I know that's obviously not what anyone, for the most part, on this panel is saying. I would just argue that, my stance is that my subjective stance is that being, pro-life is radical, is more fringe.
I agree.
But
I agree, and I agree.
not. It's subjective, right?
That's my whole thing. I mean, dude, I love you. Please follow me. Like, I don't know if you already have, but that was so well said. That was so well said, because I feel like on this app, I even got sucked into this Philbro debate about it. And now I'm realizing, when I had a friend that I thought was more pro-choice, but then he turned the philosophical arguments about bodily integrity on me. I'm like, wait a minute. Look, I'm not placing every single thing I have about why I'm pro-choice on this one philosophical issue.
Yeah, neither am I. For me, it's that I just value a woman's right to choose above all else. If you don't want to have an abortion, if a woman chooses is being pressured by her family or her, boyfriend, husband, whoever, to have an abortion, and she doesn't want one, I will fight tooth and nail for her not to have one. But if she does, that's all.
I will also fight for her to have that.
Exactly. Like it's
no,
and I think
it wasn't. No, Mustafa, it was not.
An example?
No, it was actually dope. No.
Can you give an because everything you just say now with like, oh, we don't really consider ethics, and then you say, well, I just value the woman's choice. You just made another moral statement. So you're just like,
I think you're making it way more black.
I'm saying I value a woman's choice more. My subjective reason is I value.
Listen. I think.
Hold up, hold up.
Yeah.
What Infidel is identifying there, right, is when we use value statements. When we say I value this more than this, this means that you're holding and making a normative claim. You're making an ethical position.
Bro, I'm
of
asking
why
for you
value
guys to
the
move away
decision.
from the Philbrook debate a little bit.
Stop. No, dude, no. We're not gonna not
Why?
debate how it needs to be debated.
Who said that
Yeah,
needs
we,
to
we
be
can debate
debated?
as is. I'm fine with it. It's fine.
I've done that.
So,
Hey, no, I've done this with them throughout. So
Hey Bree, guys, can I just address Bree for just a second, please?
Jesus.
So I want to
Sure.
give you, thank you. I couldn't do it before because everybody was unhinged.
Mhm.
So I just want to give you an opportunity to correct yourself
Sure.
because what was set up here is getting around, and it's getting to be a big issue within my community of pro-life. So I want to give you a chance to clear the record or stand 10 toes down on what you said. But first, I want to ask you a question. Our laws, like, can a law be something? Can a law by itself be manipulative? Can a law by itself be misogynistic, right? Can laws be those things by themselves?
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Okay, so are the people behind those laws misogynistic who are making those laws, or is the law itself that way?
Oh,
Because
I see what you're saying. Uh-huh.
Because what you said is that you said those things about the laws and the lawmakers who are trying to put pro-life laws in place. But you
Mustafa,
said,
can you
hold
come
on,
back for
but
this?
you
Hang
said,
on. I want Mustafa to come back for this because I may need his help in this because I feel like you
no,
misunderstood
you
me.
said it, and I want you to back yourself up. You're an intelligent woman that touts her law degree around this app. So I want you to
do.
explain to me how a law by itself is misogynistic, YT supremacy, and or
When
manipulative.
you're done, let me know because literally you're just okay. Can I answer you now?
Yes, please
I'm
tell
not-
me
I'm
how
not
law
gonna
by
back
itself
down.
can be
I'm
that
not
without
gonna-
the people behind it being those things.
Listen. So the discussion that the statement that I made, okay, was this, and I think you took it really personally. I suggested that the movement towards reversing Roe and the anti-choice movement was a legislative movement that has everything to do with like policies. And you took that as me
No,
saying,
you said the
people, let me
pro-life
finish. I let you
movement.
speak. Please let me finish.
Oh, hey,
You took
Lexi,
that-
I'm gonna need a
Oh
clip of
my
that.
God. Why can I not finish my statement?
Because you're
You
not
took
being
that.
honest.
I am being, this is how I saw it, right? You took that statement to mean that I'm saying all pro-lifers are misogynistic and they're this and this. I was suggesting, I don't think individuals, no, I do think that the legislative movement that's been happening throughout this country is a part of white supremacy.
You said
And I
that
don't honestly, I
hold
can't even
on,
talk
Bree.
about white supremacy because I'm a white woman.
You said that the pro. Okay, well, back up.
Sunshine, you took that as such a like personal attack on me,
back up.
sweetheart, and I did not
You
mean it that way.
said-
You and back
you
up don't like
said-
each other, but that's not me. She's
You
a different
said,
person.
I know. This is why I'm talking to you about it.
Okay,
I'm
I
giving you
said
a
what
chance
I
to clear it
said,
up because
that movement
back up.
is
I'm not mad.
is
Why are
based
you?
on is
Do I
based
not?
on.
I understand what you said. You said. Can I tell you how I interpreted what you said and what you said?
You mean
You said that the pro-life movement that is those things, which means the people within that movement would be those things, because a movement cannot be something without the people in it.
I never said that.
How? No, you didn't. But what does that mean? If I said to you, the pro-choice movement is something, something, something that was derogatory, that would be inherently, that is what the people of that movement are. Because a movement can't be something by itself without the people of the movement being that way.
Okay.
So
Can
no, Nana, I don't need, she doesn't need your help, okay? She said it. I asked to address her because
Sunshine, sweetheart. I made a claim, and I know Mustafa left, and that's probably fair. Listen, I'm gonna 10 toes down on my position again. When I was talking about the people who go against, who are anti-choice, legislatively speaking, okay, generally come from a misogynistic place. That's not me calling you a misogynist. That's saying this is where the movement is coming from.
so how is the movement something that the people within the movement are not?
Honey, are you trying to get me to say that I think
No,
you're a
I
misogynist?
don't understand how you can say a movement is something without saying the people within that movement are something.
Oh, I know. I have a great answer to that. Our leaders can fucking fool us, can lie to us. So if you want to get deeper into my philosophy of like how politics in this country works, is this, okay? We have all these real ass fucking issues to deal with in this country. And instead, what we're dealing with is all this bullshit cultural fucking wars.
Yep.
Like who's using whose bathroom? Or this or that. And they're not real. They're not
Right,
real.
but the people
So
who
our
say,
people
but
fool
the
us,
people who
right?
say,
think
I
the
don't want.
GOP fools. Listen, let me finish my
Right,
statement.
it's just
Hang
like,
on, Sunshine, let me fucking finish,
Oh my
please,
God.
please, baby. You've been talking a long. Please let me finish.
no, you've been up here for hours and I came up here. I just want to make a point about
Well,
what
I'm
you just said.
answering
Could
you,
it work the
and I
other
don't
way
think you're
though?
allowing me. You're just
Could
wanting
it
to
work the
tell me
other
you're this
way?
bad person.
The women of color, I don't know what the correct word is. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody.
You're a
I don't
social
want
worker,
to.
though. You don't know.
I understand that, but I want to make sure that's why I'm asking. I want to make sure that I'm using a word that's not offending somebody and it changes so
You
I
could just say
don't.
black woman. No,
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fine. That's fine.
Okay, it's fine. So what could it be? Because people get so offended when people say Margaret Sanger was doing
It's a
something
stupid fucking point.
yes, but okay, but I'm just this isn't my position. I'm just asking you a question back to what you just said. So if the GOP is manipulating the conservatives in our country to think and act a certain way, could that not have happened to black women when the abortion movement first came out and Margaret Sanger created Planned Parenthood? Could it
Can
not
I
have
answer
happened?
this?
I'm just asking. It can go both ways,
I'm
right?
letting Nana handle
Rhetoric
that
can
one.
happen. No,
'Cause that's
it's a
ridiculous.
rhetorical question
Yes,
because
that
if
is
you're
true
going
that
to
some
say
people were manipulated. Here's the issue. Here's the thing you're forgetting.
no, I don't care, Nana. I'm asking
Why
a
aren't
rhetorical
you letting her
question
talk,
because
Sunshine, sweetheart?
because
Why is this a problem right now? Can you take a deep breath?
because I'm not up here to debate. I'm up here to
So-
get you to
It's a rhetorical
understand
question, but you're
that
talking about the women I belong to. Of
Yeah.
course,
I don't
of course, there
care
are women that
personally
could
right
have been
now.
influenced
I
by
understand
Margaret
that you're going to
Sanger.
give me a
But
5-minute monologue. What I'm
No, I'm
Do
not.
you know
It's
when
a
Margaret
1 minute
Sanger
one. It's like a
died?
30-second
What
one.
I'm
You're bringing
saying
up black women,
is
and
that
then you're
rhetoric in this
making a
country is manipulative on all sides. It has been historically.
Sure,
Rhetoric in
but
our
one is
country
more.
has been.
Margaret Sanger has been dead a very long time. Okay.
Yes, like literally before.
Back up. I
That-
don't support Margaret Sanger.
Not.
Fuck
I know you
back
don't.
up.
No one ever said that you did. Obviously, no one
Back
ever.
up
Here's the
just did
thing.
in the comments. Nah.
Babe,
Back
you
up
have to
just
let her
did in
stop
the
triggering you,
comments.
sweetheart. Sunshine, backup can be snarky, and I
And
love her for it, but you gotta let her stop triggering you. You're talking to
the
Nana
thing,
on me right now.
Sunshine, is this. I know dozens of women of all groups, but in regards to black women who have had abortions and they don't know who Margaret Sanger is. They've never heard of her.
Right.
They don't
All I
care.
was saying is that the rhetoric at
So
that
there are
time,
more of those
at
people
that
that are
time,
doing it for the reasons they're doing
I'm
it,
talking about
financial
back
reasons,
then,
they're not
Nana.
married,
I'm not
whatever.
talking about right now. I'm talking about back when it came out.
Okay, sure. Yeah, eugenics.
Yes, thank
yes.
you.
I'm not. Nobody's
That-
denying that, but
I
I'm
didn't
talking
say
about
that
the
you were.
21st century.
What I'm saying is that if she's going to say, if Bree is going to say that all the conservatives, which I am not, by the way, if all of the conservatives in our country are being manipulated, because that's what she said, or not that word, but she basically said that we're being manipulated by this rhetoric of caring about bathrooms and caring about pronouns, right?
That's true.
That we're
Those are
being
both real.
manipulated.
They are
right?
doing that. They are doing
Right.
culture war
Okay.
stuff.
So if that exists, it is possible that it exists the other way too for everybody, and that there's and that our government is inherently divisive, right? A two-party election system is inherently divisive. It is us versus them.
That's the point.
So
That's the point.
Exactly.
That is the point.
I
Nana
studied.
knows this. She goes to law school. It's nice to be that way.
I studied. Oh, yay. And the others see you next Tuesdays in here too, because you all have to be in here together. I'm so
Jesus
happy.
Christ, Sunshine, are you okay? What is
No,
happening
because
to you?
your little tribe of people run around on this app.
I
and
literally
fly-
just met Bree today.
I'm not
I
talking
know.
about you.
And also,
Okay,
by
and
the
now
way,
I
if
have
you're
to
talking
drop
about
because
Seppi, I did not message her or anything. And Wildflower doesn't even go on.
and actually now
I
I'm
wasn't
going to drop
even-
because I refuse to platform with Wildflower, and she knows this. So now I'm going
What
to
the
drop.
fuck? By the way, she's not like, I love Wildflower, but she's not like Like,
Wait, hold
this,
up,
like
hold
we
up,
don't
hold
like
up. Mike,
sit together
yo,
and be like,
Mike
oh
is
I
my
just,
speaking.
god,
I just
let's
want to, I just want everyone to know this in the audience or like in
Jesus.
the peanut
Wait,
gallery.
just
When it comes to, let me just, Mustafa, please let me just say this about the race because she did bring up again, she again brought up Margaret Sanger and black women.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, when all the first black person ever came here allegedly in 1916, right, throughout slavery there was somewhere, depending on what year, at the height of slavery, about 280 to 300,000 slaves in the United States, both men and women. There are 45 million black people in the United States today, so that means 45 million in the span of 120 years. So even if, like, again, every black woman in America was having an abortion, which is obviously not happening, there are still so many more black people in America today. So it's like this argument that it's like it's keeping the black population down, it's keeping it stagnant. Like 45 million black people versus 200,000, 200 or 300, up to 300,000 during the height or the last census, like right before the Civil War of slavery. Okay, 45 million. Please, I let Margaret Sanger rest in hell. I'm begging you guys. Like she is such a non-factor to black women in 2024, except pro-life black women, I guess. Like we don't think about her.
No
We don't
one
talk about her. She has
cares.
nothing to do with my decision making or to the other women's decision making that I know
Yeah.
who are pro-choice.
Okay,
that are
hang on. You said so much, Nana, and I want to like, oh my God, she came up here. Like, what the fuck? Why are we talking about? I know why they're talking about her. I know why
It
they
did
want to talk
happen.
about.
I'm sure there are
She
women. There
was
are black
racist.
women today. There are black women today who are being coerced into abortions. Because that's just it happens, right? The majority of them who are choosing to, though, are not. The vast majority, right? If they are being pressured, there are social pressures that there's reasons people choose to have abortions outside of just like not wanting to be pregnant. I don't have the money for it. Again, the majority of people in the United States who do have abortions are already mothers. That tells you of the state of America when people who are already mothers are having them. So it's like, again, you'll never be able to get rid of them. If you want to minimize them, we need to talk more about like the socioeconomic issues that are going on in the country, daycare, healthcare, all those things that I've argued with some pro-lifer. I think it's insidious when there are pro-lifers that come up here. There's one in particular, and she knows who she is if she's listening, who's like she does not believe in Medicare for all. She doesn't believe in free daycare. She doesn't believe in like a minimum wage increase. She doesn't believe in any of those things, but she does believe a woman should be forced to carry. Like focus more on those things and they will reduce the number of abortions, but you will never be able to reduce abortions or eliminate them altogether.
Honestly, I'm going to turn my camera off on this part. And I did turn on because Mustafa did. And I just want to say this, that backup always brings that point up. Make pregnancy and childbirth something that is like like you could even do, not desirable, but you can do, right? We have a huge economic kind of like disparity issue. Who's trying to tell me to turn my camera on? But anyway.
But that's my issue right there, though, Breeza. Like a lot of you guys take that position. Wait. Hold on. Let me finish.
But when I had my, like, for example, when I had my abortion, okay, I don't want this to get conflated. Before you go there, it's not just an economic decision, although that's an important fucking factor. Like, it's not about that only. It's not, you guys,
Right,
I feel
but
like
I
it's
don't
so
get-
easy
I don't
for a
get how
man
you-
to sit in
I
a
don't
place
get how you
and say,
get to
you
the
know what,
point
I
that-
don't have to gestate for fucking 9 months and then birth a baby. And then, hey, you know what? Give that baby up for adoption. What do you have to lose? Are you fucking kidding me?
Breeza. But I don't get how you get to the point where you guys are saying like, oh yeah, I can't believe how hypocritical these pro-lifers are. They don't support all these social well, I know you didn't say that, but Nana I think said it. Like they don't support all these social programs.
No,
right?
hang on. I think
But
what
I
Nana
don't.
was
Wait. Can I get a word in? You guys have been
amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
so
up,
sorry.
Kat?
I'm
What's
so
up,
Can
Kat?
I get a word in? Like you guys have been going back and forth, and there's been like
Justice
no
for Brother
conversation.
Mike.
No one else can say a word.
Justice for Brother Mike.
Please.
What's up, Mike?
So yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think the other issue is that can be just turned back on pro-choicers, especially the ones that's like not really a libertarian, but like someone that's more that supports socialism. Like you guys are literally saying that, oh yeah, I support these social programs. I think that there's a positive obligation that's obligated in society to one another. However, in the case of a mother, no, she has no obligation to her child. If she wants to, if she can go as far as to allow her child to be unalive just to deny that, like, any, like, to support her own child. And I think that's a wild take. I would think that if anything, those that are socialists would be more pro-life. You would
Yeah.
think, but it's
That's
exact
why
opposite.
we call you guys. Hang on, though, for real though. And listen, what you just said. Oh my God, I can't. By the way, Mustafa, I'm gonna call you Mustafa because it's not Mike anymore. I'm practicing that shit.
He'll always be Mike.
And I do appreciate, and I'm so heartbroken to hear that you're not pro-choice anymore because I didn't take. That's fine, but
Can't overcome cause.
well, you know what? I think that's where the beginning of my argument was. Like, I've like gotten engaged back with. Who keeps asking me, moderator invited you to turn the camera on? Bitch, I have literally turned
Mustafa, were you pro-choice before?
You know, he was
So I was pro-life originally,
so
right?
bad.
And then I ran into like kind of like this, I say, dilemma where I really thought that there was something. I really thought that there was like a point where like I really wasn't pro-life. Like I really thought that there was issues when it came to like you were saying, like pragmatics. I had some issues with some pragmatics, and I was like, you know what? Maybe these are so
It's not
unable
just
to
the
be overcome,
pragmatics.
right?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's not just
right.
that.
No. If you're sorry to interrupt me, then just don't do it.
But it's not just that.
Let him finish. Good Lord.
Red light, green light.
Justice for Mike.
Right. Thank you, brother Mike. But anyways, right. So again, I thought that these pragmatic issues were never going to be able, like, they were so bad that they could just never be overcome. And so I was like, maybe that then means that there is a justification on the normative end for the view of stating that, you know, abortion is going to be justified, right? But then I thought about it more. I talked to some people, some of the smartest people that I know. You know, I talked to Glock, I talked to some other people in the philosophy sphere and was asking them about it. And they were like, you know, even though these problems are there, like I talked to Pluto, I talked to Drewski, I've talked to Sky about it as well. And it was like, even though these problems are present, and Barbie as well, Barbie makeup, it's like, even though these problems are prevalent or present, that doesn't actually mean that the normative view itself is then going to, you know, change or alter. It doesn't seem that that's going to be the case. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. That does make sense. I reached out to a couple of pro-choicers as well, talked to people like Eric, and some other people that are in the philosophy ranks that are pro-choice. And they said, yeah, it doesn't really sound like you're actually pro-choice. It seems that you're just pro-life and you have some entailed issues with, you know, certain pragmatics or application, but that's fine because you don't necessarily need to know everything about how you're going to apply something to still be able to hold a normative position of stating this doesn't seem to be justified. Yeah, what's up, Infidel?
Yeah, so you were convinced by pro-lifers to be pro-choice.
Hello.
What? That's not
No,
what
to be
that's not what-
pro-life.
No,
that's-
he's
that's-
pro-life.
All the
what
people
it
you
says.
named were pro-lifers.
I talked to pro-lifers about the pragmatic issues that I had with the pro-life
maybe
position
talk to
that I
us
thought
about
that made me pro-choice.
Maybe
Then I also
talk
talked to some pro-choicers as well, like the person that I named Eric. Eric is literally pro-choice, and he's probably the smartest person that I've ever come into contact with when it comes to philosophy, right? And he literally told me, he said, yeah, it doesn't really sound like you're actually pro-choice. It sounds like you're more than likely just going to be pro-life. And there's just a problem that you have when it comes to the application of the position itself. And I said,
Okay.
yeah, that actually seems to make sense. And then
Can I talk
went
to Mustafa after
now
he's
what I
done?
will say, now real quick, what I will say is I do have some serious problems with arguing for prospective sentience, right? I don't argue that anymore. I don't think that that's a good position. Instead, I would probably argue the flow argument with a combination of the causal obligation. So flow is just automatically going to be stating that there's a wrong maker that's found with abortion itself. But then I think that causal obligation argued in tandem with it makes it to be where that's going to be a concrete position that just, it can't be overcome. And
Okay,
there's
so
not
before
that
you
much
run the
that
pro-life
about it.
arguments, because here's what I heard. If it's okay, Mustafa and myself, let me and infidel. Anyone else can interrupt. I don't.
Me interrupt and Breezer gets muted.
I can it again. Is it okay? Whoever the mods are.
When do we get a chance to interrupt, Breeza?
Because I'm this fucking bitch ass person who's very pro-choice, right?
I still love you, Breeza. No matter how wrong you are.
Ask Mustafa some stuff. Okay, Lexi, I don't know, baby. You have these mods that are wild as fuck. Like,
I just want to say also, Mustafa, even though I fundamentally disagree with you, I do respect you a lot. I do.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man.
I respect him a lot too.
Especially because you're a pro-Palestine queen.
Of course. Of course.
And I'm a Jewish one that's pro-Palestine, dude.
Of course.
Extra
Of course. Always
anyway,
respect.
I don't want extra cookies. I was just being facetious about that. Mods, is it okay for me to speak without you making me turn my camera on? Because I have already done that, and without you muting me. Listen, there are certain things.
Dude, this is. Come on.
No, that was gonna happen. You had to have known that was gonna happen.
Oh, I want to be able to chime in, but I never know when I can.
No, I don't know the other mods that are in here, but if Brizaza wants to ask Mustafa something, I know he did talk to her. I know she does interrupt, but just let her finish what she wants to say, and then we can move on, okay?
But Joey, you gotta admit, with the disclaimer, you had to have known that was gonna happen.
I knew it was gonna happen, but I just want I know the other mods, we all have our own opinions. But just let her finish, let her say what she wants to say, and then we'll move on.
Of course.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to what you were saying. So you suggested that you talked to a lot of like pro-lifers, and you were like, well, philosophically, and even some pro-choicers that told you, even philosophically, Mustafa, you don't agree with being pro-choice.
Yeah, it's not aligned. It's not something that's going to be aligned with my morals nor my ethics, right? Which I mean,
did you see me getting muted? I don't know who you're. Lexi, babe, your lives are notoriously known for you not controlling your mods.
Oh.
The fact that I'm being fucking muted while everyone, even Joey, was like, let her talk to him for a second.
Yeah, I'm in Ramadan. Should I be eating up this drama right now, or should I probably remove myself? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I'm supposed. Infidel, how's your day going, buddy? How's the weather over there, big dog?
It's doing fine.
Well, can I ask anything?
No, you don't.
To my
You're gonna get muted.
Whoever's modding.
The mods of
Can I continue with Mustafa though? Is that okay? Like, I know we all want to have our moment.
Yeah,
you have your moment.
Well, yeah, but they keep muting you, so
please don't mute her.
if people could stop so we can move on.
Okay.
As long as Mike's moment is him singing.
Thank you,
NSYNC.
Lexi.
Okay.
Anyway, and I think this is an important part to bring up. So the thing that I'm trying to deal with myself right now, Mustafa, is this, that, so you were suggesting that, you talk to a lot of pro-lifers and pro-choicers, and they're like, well, philosophically, you don't agree, blah, 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 right? I'm not suggesting that there isn't a place for philosophy in this debate. Of course there is. But I also think that there is more to speak of that's outside of philosophy, right? That we can, and that doesn't mean the ethical debate isn't valuable or important. But to be pro-choice or to be pro-life, Mustafa, I would suggest to you has to do with, oh my gosh, hang on. It has to do with like just not being discriminatory in laws. If you're suggesting a man has the right to all of these things, but like you're not going to infringe on their right, but then you're saying a woman does, then we're being discriminatory, aren't we? I'm trying to move a little bit away from the philosophical debates. I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm just trying to suggest that it's not just about those debates. It's also an emotional thing. As a woman who has had an abortion, I'm going to tell you this. Of course it's philosophical, Prince. You're right about that. But Prince, you also admitted on the other live that you think all pro-choicers are essentially wicked. Those were your words.
I just feel like your heavy contention with I think what you're saying is not actually what you're expressing right now, what you actually
Maybe
believe.
not. You're right. I'm not good at expressing myself.
I
and
think
emotions.
what you're trying to say is that people fall down into rhetoric too much in where they start arguing things they don't actually believe in.
Yeah.
Right. I used to do
Yeah.
this when I was 16. I used to be pro-life, and I realized I'm a degenerate. And then I was like, no, I'm going to be pro-choice. Like, I don't even agree with what I'm saying right now, even if it's consistent. No offense, pro-lifers, but.
No, but why wouldn't a single man not want to be? Not, I mean, never mind. That's, but you're absolutely right. I'm not very good at explaining myself.
No. I think if you believe in what you're saying, you're less degenerate than I was when I didn't even believe what I was saying. That's what I meant.
So all I would say, like in response to what you said, Brizaza, is when it comes to the idea of there being discriminatory, you're saying discriminatory laws. Well, the only difference between the statement of what you're making and what pro-lifers would be identifying is we find it to be a discriminatory action. We find it to be when we're discriminating against the offspring of the parents, in which by stating as though that because they're in XYZ stage of development, therefore they're underdeveloped as opposed to the rest of that and individuals that are within society, that therefore somehow they're viewed as having less rights, right? Or less of an ability of having protection, such as other members within the society itself. So pro-lifers are also going to see the action itself of abortion, right, as an action of discrimination, right, where it's going to be discrimination against those in which that are going to be the
with my
underdeveloped.
bodily integrity argument.
Well, yeah, but the bodily integrity argument doesn't overcome causal.
What do you mean? Hang on. Causal is like not the dude. I want to say Mike now.
It really is. It really is, though. It really is. The
No,
argument.
it's not. It's really not. It's really not. It's
is.
really, really not. It's actually one of the biggest arguments.
Causal for a year
Anyway,
and a
I'm gonna
half.
let Wildflower talk, and I'm gonna. Okay. All right. No, I don't think it's the best argument. I actually think the right, like it can overcome that. Like no one has the right to your body. If we're not granting the fetus the right to life, we're not granting it any rights that you and I enjoy. We're granting a special set of wrecking rights that
not a
no one
special
else
set of
enjoys.
rights.
So then it comes up to you. Then the burden falls on you to tell me as causal. What is that about? Like,
Yeah. Every child's going to have positive rights. Positive rights can be the view of what you're stating as what's going to be some kind of form of special set of rights. But positive rights are just going to be rights that individuals are going to be afforded to when they're in any kind of a state of dependency, right? Individuals that are within like a handicapped position or that are needing to be able to be like cared for by some kind of a caretaker, they have positive rights. Children have positive rights. There are a special set of rights in which that obligates individuals in which that hold a responsibility over them to provide their labor and their action with their body to be able to sustain their lives and make sure that they're not going to be unalived, right? So if we want to identify that as a special set of rights, sure.
That's not what it is. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
We are ascribing a special set of rights, but that doesn't actually necessitate that it makes the position any like
No, I
any
feel like
less true.
No, I feel like with every single causal person, you guys are missing the fucking point. You're missing the point. I don't have the right to your body. I don't have the right to be inside of your body or take from your body or infringe upon your body without your consent. The fucking obligation.
again-
Now it falls on you to tell me why a fetus has that right.
Well, just like every other child.
And you
Even
haven't
if you-
proven it to me. Even if
you
my
didn't-
child is
even if you
born,
didn't-
hang on, Mustafa, let me finish. Even if my child is born outside of me, right, needs a piece of my liver, it still cannot, I cannot be forced legally to give it
Wait,
any
if you
piece of me.
forced it- Wait, if you put that child in a state of dependency to where it depends on your liver and you're the only liver in which that's capable of being able to sustain that child's life, and by giving a piece of your liver doesn't put your life in danger,
talking too
then
fast.
110% that would be your obligation to do so.
Okay,
Same way as
here's where I
same
agree
way
with
as-
obligation. If I bring a child into this world, I don't
This
transfer
is
the
why I'm
rights.
talking fast, is because this is why I'm talking fast, because I know that you're trying to cut me off, and so I have to sit there and try to fit out a whole entire point in a few little seconds so that I don't get cut off, and I have to sit here and try to run out of oxygen, and I look like a crazy person at 11:40 at night. So please, let's just not do that. All right?
I agree. Can we agree?
Perfect.
Can we agree? Because I feel like you do that to me too.
Perfect, right? So again, right, as I was stating, right, when your child is put in a state of dependency based on your actions that result in this child being dependent upon something that you are the only one in which that can give, then 110% your child is going to have that obligation, right, or going to have that entitlement to you to provide for them as an obligation as the individual in which who put them in the state of dependency in the first place.
Yeah, because this is suggesting that when we have a causal dependent agent, then we're just going to say that, well, because agent has been exists due to the mother, therefore she's obligated. Well, the question is that causal obligation only works if the agent in question that is dependent is worthy of like obligated means. Like if, for example, like I can cause like plants to grow in a garden, but we wouldn't say I have causal obligation to look over to these plants. Now,
Right.
so now, yeah, so that's why you. Yeah, that's why you bring up the flow statements. But I don't think flow is entirely convincing. I think that, like, I offer, like, a different view, like, thought. I think thought is... Sorry,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say, I don't really hold flow as necessarily, like an argument to convince. It's more just the defense of the position of pro-life itself, right? So for people in which they try to tell me, right, that my position of being pro-life is going to be unfounded, and or if they try to claim that there is something that is not true, well, then I'm able to just defend it by simply just stating, well, no, I believe in the fact that we are going to, place moral value on things in which that share a future such like that of ours, and therefore, right, the unaliving of individuals in which that share the future like that of ours, there's going to be something that's going to be wrong, therefore making abortion de facto wrong. But then I also run causal because I still adhere to the exceptions that I find to be necessary to have.
Yeah, to be able, already. I said this is what you're doing.
Can I just explain to Maywise why flow sucks? Sorry, Infidel. I'm gonna just like churning. What flow does is that it the burden of proof switches. That's all it does. It switches the burden of proof. That's why it's a weak debate tactic, to be honest with you, because literally, I'm going to run down my argument. You have to be the one. The burden of proof is now on you to tell me why a fetus has a special set of rights. In that sense, I mean, why does a fetus get to exist and grow and be all of these things inside of my body without my consent when no other human being has this right?
I get a question, by the way.
Anyway, Infidel, go ahead, but yeah, I'm going to mute now.